what about this idea that faith without works is dead? You ever heard that? We're talking about faith now, but faith without works is dead. How is that true if we're healed only by the remedy that Christ came and we have no work in that process? If we're saved only by the work of Christ, then how is it our faith without our work is dead? How does that work? Well, first you have to understand what faith is. Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And the Greek word for substance, you guys know this already, we'll just go real fast. Hypostasis, the first half is hypo, as in hypoglycemic, hypotensive. Hypo means under or low. Stasis means standing, translated into Latin. Faith is our substance, subway, submarine, subterranean. Sub means under. Substance, stance, you take a standing, you stand somewhere, you take a standing. Translated in English, faith is our understanding of things hoped for. Now, what's understanding? Understanding has two definitions. They both apply, and you need both for biblical faith. The first is, it does require comprehension. You have to have some comprehension of God, your condition, your situation, your need for Him. You have to have some comprehension of His goodness. So there's an understanding of reality there, but there's another element to the faith that if you just have the comprehension cognitively and understand, that's not faith. It is that, but you have to have this other piece. Let me give you an example of what the other piece is. Let's say you fractured your leg and you end up in the emergency department. You're in pain. The orthopedic surgeon comes to you and says, hey, I can set the bone in your leg. I can do that for you, but I can't do that without your permission. I need your consent. And after I set the bone, if you give me consent, I'm going to give you antibiotics that you're going to need to take for 5 days and then do physical therapy. Are you willing to do that? Do we have an understanding? See, biblical understanding is that agreement that we have with the Creator, that we understand our part and His part, and we are working together with Him. Now, what is our part? Think about the orthopedic surgeon. Does your work set the bone? Does your permission, is it required in order for the surgeon to do his work? Will the Holy Spirit do work in your broken heart without your permission? No, you have a work to surrender, to give permission. That's your understanding. That's your faith right there. Next, when you take your antibiotics, do you have a work to do to partake of the antibiotic? But when you do, does the antibiotic now do something in you cannot do for yourself? Yes, did you make the antibiotic? Did you work to create it? No, that's part of it as well. But we have to partake of it. And when you do your physical therapy, follow the prescription plan by your doctor, do you provide the life energy that knits the bone back together? You don't do that. But what happens if you have this belief that the surgeon has the ability to set the bone, and you understand cognitively the benefit of antibiotics and therapy, but you choose not to take them and not to do your physical therapy? That's faith without works, and it's dead. It won't result in your wellness. You have to have both your understanding with God and your participation with Him. But your participation with Him does not provide the remedy, nor do you cure yourself. Desire of Ages 466. It says, in the work of redemption, there is no compulsion. No external force is employed. Under the influence of the Spirit of God, man is left free to choose whom he will serve. In the change that takes place when the soul surrenders to Christ, there is the highest sense of freedom. Now notice this next sentence. This is where that cooperative stuff. The expulsion of sin is an act of the soul itself. True, we have no power to free ourselves from Satan's control. But when we desire to be set free from sin, and in our great need cry out for a power out of and above ourselves, the powers of the soul are imbued with the divine energy of the Holy Spirit, and they obey the dictates of the will in fulfilling the power of God. You see, that is what we're talking about here. You can't heal yourself. You can't save yourself. You can't transform yourself. But God can't do it without your participation. He will not force a person to be saved against their will. We must partake. We must willingly choose. And there's a reason for this as well. Because of the way He's designed our individuality, without your free will agreement, without your free will understanding, comprehension, saying yes, then your individuality would be overwritten by the power of God, and your personhood would be destroyed if He forced it upon you.